happens because they do feel bombarded and overrun, which that would be something that needs to be looked at during that time period. I think the rest of the time, there is always plenty of parking and plenty of availability to get locals down into the beach and to enjoy the facilities and the lights. Something else that is definitely something quick seconds, okay. The rental market down here, I think, needs to be expanded a little bit more. Everything going to the Airbnb market right now, a lot of locals and a lot of young locals are being kicked out of this town. So if you want people to continue to serve you in restaurants and things of that nature, we're going to need to make sure that our rental market gets put back in place.
Thank you all. Okay, this one we'll start with Steve King. So question 2. Some candidates believe that all of IVGID's venues should make money or break even. Others believe that facilities should be subsidized. Where do you stand on this?
Where I stand on this is, I run a business. So within a 5-year time frame, that facility should be at least breaking even and making a little bit of money. And if it isn't, we really need to go back and look at the infrastructure of what's going on with the operations. Because, at the end of the day, it is our taxpayers' money. So, But I believe in a 5-year plan, looking at something. Because if you look at Diamond Peak, this year, we made a whole bunch of money. But in the last 4 years, because of the drought, we didn't make as much money. So, if we're breaking even, I'm pretty much happy with that. So, thank you.
I think ideally, the goal is to break even. And I think an advantage to that is if we can get some summer activities going out there in Diamond Peak instead of it sitting there vacant, especially when we have the drought winters.
Our recreation facilities were built by you. They were paid for with your tax dollars, your recreation fee money. They were constructed with bond money, paid for by you. Who benefits for using those facilities? Outsiders, visitors, and very seldom the people who live here. Do they make a profit? No. Could they make a profit? No. Will they make a profit? No. If they're not going to make a profit, why are we expanding the employment base? More managers, more employees, trying to outsource things hasn't happened. Why are we doing all this? Who was it built for? It was built for us, with our money. So let's charge the people who built it a fee to use it. You. And let's let those who didn't pay the fee to use it and build it in for free. The employees. Every employee who works for IVGID uses it for free. Or a big discount. Can we operate these facilities at a profit? No. Can we operate them so the people who live here can use them for free? Yes. Can we make it a benefit for those people who are in this community? Yes. I see it done all over the country. I see it done at Donna. They don't pay big fees to use their own property. We do. Why is that? Because we have an employee base we have to subsidize, and it's huge. Thank you.
Paul Longshore. Again, with this process, I actually did own a business here in town for a while. I tried to save the grog and grist, but of course my timing was horrible, and I did it right before the economy took a dump, so I put my whole life savings into that, so I know the bad side of food and beverage. You can bleed off money like you have, like no tomorrow, very fast. I believe that as long as we can show that we are making a profit in that, I believe it's okay. But I also believe there should be a bidding process. So as I spoke before, that if an outstanding company can come in and do a better job, and they can prove that they can do a better job from their books, and then it should be open to a process on where we could look at it as a community on voting on that, whether we want somebody else to come in or not come in. Right now, it seems like, from what we've seen on the books, we kind of need to get into those a little more and make sure that what we're making is actually what we're making, and there's not a loss in food and beverage. Like I said, even a person just giving away free drinks to their friends. I mean, that's pretty much your taxpayer dollars going down the drain, and there's really no way to prove those losses. Anyways, I just think, we should just make sure that we're making money at that, and as long as we're doing a good job and making money at those processes, I think that would be good.
Phil Duran. The GID, which we are, was formed under NRS 318. 318 then allows for the GID to provide services and facilities. They're allowed to charge fees for that, to make those services available to the people who live here. So I think that we're really, when I look at the rec fee, and I was heartened to listen to Al O'Connor the other day when I looked at his presentation last July on the master plan. You know, I don't think that we're subsidizing the various venues. I look at it as that our user fees that are paid by our visitors and guests are subsidizing us. We have the availability of these facilities, and we can use them or we cannot use them. And not everybody uses every facility, but they're still available. So I think that they're not businesses. I don't see them breaking even. I think that we need to make sure that they're available. The people I talk to in the community are happy with the venues that they are available, they can participate in them. And I think that we need to run them effectively and efficiently and against some standards so that we're providing the service. But I think that having the recreation fee provide for that availability is a good way to go.
If we can send that mic back over to Chief, that would be excellent. Thank you.
Peter Morris. I think it is the case that the different services that we provide, some of them will just frankly never make money. Are we going to charge to enter our parks? If we're going to make everything run as a profitable entity, how are we going to fund the parks? I think that each entity should certainly be measured against its budget and its revenues. It should certainly make sure that it breaks even, and we should be able to look at that on a regular basis and a timely basis so that course correction can be taken. I actually don't think that anything is for free. I think that was mentioned about our IVGID employees. Part of that is cost of doing business. As a business employer, I know the benefits that I have to give my workers to be able to entice them to work for me. So I think we have to take all of that into consideration. We have to look across the budget. And a couple of people have mentioned about outsourcing. I'm not necessarily in favor of outsourcing. I think a good example is the golf course. How well that is being run now as an IVGID operation, I think is an example, as is Diamond Peak, as is probably most of our entities. So I think we're doing a good job. Close control over them by the board is really important, but we don't have to make everyone make a huge profit.
Matthew Dan. When it comes to the venues, I believe there's 3 different categories. Diamond Peak, potential summer operations at Diamond Peak, and food and beverage are areas where we could make money. Parks and recs would be in a category where we're providing a service to the community, and unless we are charging to walk through the park, it's going to be a cost. And golf's a trade-off. We're subsidizing golf. If that's what the parcel owners want to continue to do, then that's what we should continue to do. Thank you.
Robert Ullman, going up. I'm curious about something. How many people are happy with our rec fee as it is? Okay. You know, an interesting way of looking at it, I met with some community members the other day, and the value of a punch card is $166. Does everyone agree with that? Okay. You know, the value of the punch card is going down every year because all of our venues cost more and more. For instance, several years ago, to get on the beach, it was about half of what it costs right now. So your $166 doesn't buy you as much. And in 10 years, one punch card that's worth $166 will give you access to the beach one time. I'm being facetious about that, but I strongly believe that we should work towards a break even with our businesses, if at all possible, but that isn't always the case. I believe that this year, I think Jerry Ike is here, that Diamond Peak had a $2.5 million operating profit. Is that correct? Jerry?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, where does that money go when we make a profit? Obviously, we don't make a profit every year. So, but I'd like, used to be my neighbor, Diane, gotta give you more time. So I'd like to see benefits extended to community members and homeowners if we made that profit. Perhaps we should offer free season passes to our homeowners next season. Thank you.
Stephen Thomason. I definitely think there's obviously two ends of the spectrum here you gotta look at. You have your break-even scenario, which is Matthew Dunn was brought up. There are certain venues that are going to break even. That's just the nature of the beast. I think unless we really do focus on the Diamond Peak expansion, getting some different things going out there during the summer, more activities, there is more revenue that can be had along with, like Omar was just saying, the revenue that was gained this last season by Diamond Peak during the winter time. With those monies made, that can be invested back into our community to improve it. There are a lot of areas that do need improvement, whether it be structurally, some buildings you see as you drive down the road. We definitely don't have a really well established and proven walking paths that go through our town. You know, I think that having a center of town, sort of a city center, possibly being built would be a great idea, because it would help tourism and it would help get individuals to focus money on the businesses that are in this town, and that we can continue to grow further and more and leave some actual things for our children, our grandchildren, and everything else here to look forward to. I don't think there is much for them to be looking at right now to be very proud of, with the way that this town actually kind of looks aesthetically, as far as I'm concerned. I do own a business here in town. I love it, and I want to see more growth.
This is a pretty broad topic, whether we should be making a profit or breaking even. We weren't supposed to look at these things back at last year when the board went through a strategic plan. And the consultant recommended that we look at each one of our venues, each one of our operations, and determine whether it still made sense to have those. Perhaps they were so unprofitable that it really wasn't worth it. When I looked at Diamond Peak's operations over the past several years, I thought to myself, wouldn't it make more sense if we just took the money from the rec fee and bought everyone who wants to ski a season pass at North Star or at Mount Rose, because that's what we were spending, the equivalent of that and more. One of the other problems that we have is that right now our financial reports don't show how the venues are doing anymore. We just hear fancy terms like